Picture this. It's 10:47 at night. You've had a long day. Work, errands, maybe helping family, or just trying to get everything done. You finally get into bed, phone in hand, thinking you'll just check one thing before you turn out the light. 5 minutes later, there it is. A pair of comfortable walking shoes on sale, that kitchen gadget that's supposed to make life easier, or the new tool for the garage you've been thinking about. Only a few left at this price. Flash sale ends in 2 hours. 12 people are looking at this right now. Your brain perks up. It looks like a good deal. It might actually be useful. Before you know it, you've tapped Add to Cart, used your saved card, and as you're drifting off to sleep, you feel that little spark of satisfaction. 2 days later, the box shows up. You open it, use it once or twice, and then it ends up in a drawer or the back of the closet. And you catch yourself thinking, why did I buy this again? If that cycle feels way too familiar, you are not alone. And it's not because you have bad self-control. The entire modern shopping system, the apps, the ads, the one-click checkout, the countdown timers, has been carefully engineered to bypass your better judgment, especially when you're tired, stressed, or just unwinding at the end of the day. The good news is you can break that system, starting tonight. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how impulse buying works against people in our age group, how much it's quietly costing your future, and the simple, practical system that can help you cut those unplanned purchases dramatically, often within the first 24 hours. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Alright, let's start with the numbers, so you can see what's really at stake here. Recent 2026 surveys show that 81% of consumers have already made at least one impulse purchase this year. Many people are making around 7 impulse buys on average, with quite a few spending $50 or more each time. Other research puts monthly impulse spending for the average person between $250 and $300. Even if we use a more conservative example for people who are trying to be careful, say 4 unplanned purchases a month at about $60 each, that's $240 a month, or roughly $2,880 a year. Now here's where it gets serious for those of us thinking about retirement. If you took that same $2,880 and put it into a simple, low-cost index fund earning around 8% on average each year, after 15 years it would grow to nearly $78,000. After 20 years, it would be over $131,000. That's real money. That's the difference between feeling confident about healthcare costs or travel in retirement versus constantly worrying whether the money will last. Impulse buying isn't just about little things. It's quietly stealing from the future you've worked decades to build. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't really a money problem at its core. It's a psychology problem. Your brain is still running on very old software. Thousands of years ago, when our ancestors saw something valuable, food, tools, shelter, the smart move was to grab it right away. Waiting could mean losing it forever. That instinct is still there. The only difference is that today, the valuable thing is a $79 neck massager or a new set of ergonomic garden tools. Modern shopping apps are built around 3 powerful psychological triggers that are especially effective on people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Let's break them down. First, scarcity. You've seen it 1,000 times. Only 3 left in stock. This deal ends in 47 minutes. Popular item, 18 people viewing right now. This triggers something called loss aversion. Your brain hates the idea of missing out more than it enjoys the actual item. So instead of asking, do I really need this right now, it starts asking, what if I regret not buying it later? And that little fear is often enough to make you click. Second, convenience. 20 years ago, buying something took effort. You had to get in the car, go to the store, walk around, wait in line. That friction gave your brain time to think. Today it takes 4 seconds. Tap, tap, Face ID, or saved card. Done. No friction, no pause. And when you're tired at the end of a long day, that ease is incredibly seductive. Third, and this is the one that catches most of us, dopamine. Research shows that the biggest rush of dopamine doesn't come when the package arrives. It comes the moment you add the item to your cart or hit Buy Now. Your brain gets a little chemical reward for the anticipation. That's why impulse buying often happens when you're bored, lonely, stressed about work, or even celebrating the fact that the kids are finally out of the house. You're not really buying the product. You're buying a moment of relief or excitement. And because so many of us in this age group have a little more disposable income than we did in our 30s, or because we're dealing with empty nest feelings, health concerns, or just wanting to make life a bit more comfortable, these triggers hit especially hard. So the real question is, how do you interrupt the whole cycle before it starts? This is where the 24-hour rule comes in, and it's even more powerful than it sounds. The rule is simple. If you see something you weren't planning to buy, you wait 24 hours. That's it. No complicated budget. No guilt. Just wait. You might be thinking, but if I still want it tomorrow, I'll just buy it then. Exactly. And that's the point. Impulse buying depends entirely on urgency and emotion. Remove the urgency, and the emotional pull almost always fades. In fact, studies in consumer psychology show that more than 70% of impulse purchases are no longer interesting after a 24-hour delay. People simply lose the urge. Here's how to make the 24-hour rule even stronger. Create a simple want list. Anytime you feel the pull to buy something unplanned, open your Notes app or a small notebook and write it down. Item, price, and why you think you want it. Then close the app and go do something else. When you come back the next day, one of three things almost always happens. First possibility. You look at the item and think, what was I thinking? I don't even need this. You delete it and feel a little smarter. Second possibility. You still kind of want it, but it no longer feels urgent. So you decide to wait another week and see how you feel. Third possibility. You still want it. It still fits your budget, and it genuinely improves your life. Now it's a deliberate, thoughtful purchase instead of an impulse. You can buy it with a clear head. Let me give you a quick example that happens all the time in our age group. Imagine you're scrolling and you see a $149 ergonomic office chair on sale with a countdown timer. Your back has been bothering you more lately. Impulse brain says, this could really help. Buy it before the sale ends. But your want list brain says, write it down. The next day you check the list and remember you already have a decent chair. Or you realize the pain is more about needing to stand up and move every hour than needing a new chair. Either way, that $149 stays in your account. Do that just a couple of times a month and you've saved thousands over a few years. Money that can actually grow for your retirement, instead of sitting in a closet. Now, some people hear this and think, but life is short. Shouldn't I enjoy my money? And that's a fair question. The goal isn't to stop buying things you value. The goal is to stop buying things you don't actually value. When you cut the random purchases, something interesting happens. You start spending more intentionally. Instead of dozens of $40, $80 impulse buys that get forgotten, you save up for the things that actually improve your life. A meaningful trip, time with grandkids, home improvements you'll really use, or simply more security in retirement. Here's the deeper truth. Impulse buying isn't just a spending problem. It's an attention problem. Companies are spending billions to capture your attention long enough to make a decision you'll later regret. Notifications, targeted ads on Facebook and YouTube, recommended for you emails, flash sales, it's all designed to interrupt your thinking. Your job isn't to out-discipline all of that. Your job is to create a little friction again. Here are the practical steps that work best for people in our stage of life. First, use the 24-hour rule and the want list every single time. Second, add friction on purpose. Remove your saved credit cards from shopping apps and websites. Turn off push notifications from Amazon, Walmart, Target, and any store apps. Unsubscribe from promotional emails, or at least move them to a separate folder you only check once a week. Use the Save for Later or Wishlist feature instead of Add to Cart. Third, give yourself a small, guilt-free, fun money amount each month, maybe $100 or $150, that you can spend on anything you want without the 24-hour rule. This satisfies the need to treat yourself while protecting the rest of your budget. Fourth, before you buy anything unplanned, ask one honest question. What am I feeling right now? Bored? Tired? A little lonely? Stressed? Shopping rarely fixes those feelings for more than a few hours. Recognizing the emotion is often enough to make the urge pass. And fifth, if you're married or have a partner, consider sharing your want list with them. A little gentle accountability goes a long way. If you do these things consistently, impulse spending doesn't disappear overnight, but it drops surprisingly fast. Most people notice a real difference within the first 2 or 3 weeks. The urgency fades, the packages stop showing up unexpectedly, and you start to feel something better than the quick dopamine hit. You start to feel in control of your money again. So here's your simple action plan starting today. Number 1. Commit to the 24-hour rule for every unplanned purchase. Number 2. Create your want list right now in your Notes app. Number 3. Remove one source of friction today: saved cards, notifications, or promotional emails. Number 4. Decide on your monthly fun money amount so you can still enjoy life without guilt. Number 5. When the urge hits, pause and ask what you're really feeling. Do these 5 things, and you'll be protecting thousands of dollars a year that can grow for the retirement you actually want. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up so more people in our age group can see it. And before you go, I'd love to know, what's one impulse purchase you've made in the last year or two that you now barely use or regret? Share it in the comments. Reading your stories helps all of us stay on track together. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of that future self. They're counting on you.